For some reason, Rumble isn't working correctly. Um, I don't know which one to do here. Let's just do streaming to um using multi-feed streaming to YouTube, Rumble, which only Rumble is not showing up. It's saying I'm streaming and it's let's see. It's saying I'm streaming, but it's only showing um the other three platforms are showing it correctly. And closing and reopening doesn't fix it. I've even successfully streamed today, uh, earlier, just, should say I'm using OBS to do the actual streaming. Appears, was fully adjusting the video fade, it's just such your thumbnail. For your next go live. Give 30 seconds. I guess I will press these. I've been using the same stream key for over 6 months. So, know why this is doing this now. Okay, well, might have to. Um, any Rumble. simply and starting the Rumble stream actually work. Okay. Creator Studio, find the live stream. Restart again. Um, okay, so I guess give me a second if you're on uh, if you're on anything but Rumble. Rumble is not working right now, so I'm gonna have to end it stream and then restart, possibly restart. Oh, wait a second. Now it's what? Now it's working. Is it working now? I guess. Apparently it is. Let's see something here. Let's reload this. Okay, so apparently, it's working now without me having to do anything. Yeah. Yeah, I always end it in Rumble. I have to do that for keeps it going. But I will look into the static stream key. If I can find it, I'll set it up for my next stream. Next. Okay. When this pops off, which is just okay, that doesn't take very long. That's kind of good. All right, I guess. Okay. New static stream. Let's see. Let's see if we can see that. We're in. Let's see something here. Let's go back. It's still running. That's fine. Settings. Stream presets. Destination. I wonder if I can. Oh, that's interesting. What's this? Little destination thing. Okay. let's go back into the deal. Make sure it's doing all right, which it apparently is. What's the deal with my hair like that? I know I got my calic. Actually, my calic isn't there. Oh, the calic isn't there because I took a shower. I see. So I get the calics really bad when I shower for a few days. I think that's probably a little too much information for you guys, but that's okay. Whatever. Whatever is whatever. Let's put this back where it belongs. Let's go to Rumble. Let's go ahead and pop out. Uh, no. Uh, this one. Let's go ahead and pop out chat. All right. And let's go to the live stream, Rumble live stream. And let's go ahead and pop out this chat. Well, it looks like I screwed up again. I didn't really screw up again exactly per se, but here. I'm just gonna leave these like that. I don't care about if their widths, what their widths are. And this is the way it always seems to go. As long as the height is okay. Um, right now I'm supposed to be working on my map, so that's where I'm gonna bring Excalidraw out. Okay. Let us pull up Excalidraw. All right. It's okay, it's working all right now. It wasn't on video feed, video feed, video feed for a bit. Okay. So. Oh. Too bad. What about the zoom? Um. Wait. Let's go ahead and rectangle diamond. Diamond. Interesting. Edges. Sloppiness because it looked hand drawn. Layer. See, it. I mean, it does do layers, so. Not as robust, I don't guess. But delete that. Let's try the square. Rounded. Ellipse. Arrow. Line. Freehand draw. Text. Image. Eraser. More tools. Frame tool. Web embed. What is the frame tool? What's frame do? Can't octagon it, but I can circle it. So let's do And also, I mean, I could, let's see, actually. Oh, can do it by, okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and these are 5 by 5 squares, are they? Kind of interesting, but do a 3 by 3. Do a 4 by 4. Do 5 by 5. Right? And that makes them 25. Okay. Control C, Control V. And let's see something here. I would like that to kind of be huge. A street, I don't know. Um, let's see. Let's see if whatchamacallit. Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this thing. Do you think you could give me a guesstimate of the width of, well, say, Fantasy Land in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom? It doesn't matter which direction axis. Um, it also doesn't matter the specific measurement. Could be acres or yards or feet or anything we the US. Please check the internet, social media, any places like archive, any official public Disney related websites, etc. to get this dimension. I'm sure you won't find exact measurements, and I'm sure you're going to have to infer that but I just basically want an idea. You could figure that out. I'm just doing a random. I just picked Fantasyland just to pick it. Do a little better than just a blind guesstimate. I can actually give you some fairly solid numbers based on historical perk data and a massive new Fantasyland expansion that finished up around 2014. The acreage. Original Fantasyland, for the first few decades of the park, Fantasyland sat at roughly 10 acres. The expansion, uh, 11 to 26 acres. Okay. The width. If we take a generally accepted 21 acre measurement, here's what it looks like at raw distance. 21 acres square feet. A perfect boring square would roughly measure roughly 956 feet across. However, theme park lands are organically shaped. Fantasyland wraps behind Cinderella Castle. Yeah. It's. I realize that it doesn't really matter that much. I just want. It's just an estimation for how to adjust my sizes. There's western border, far edge of Storybook Circus. Maximum width of 1,000 to 1,300 feet. Football field, including the end zone, is 360 feet long, 160 feet wide, 0.32 acres. It's roughly the size of 16 football fields. Is that right? Is it actually that big? Is that? Is it really that big? 1,000 feet. Assuming 1,000 feet on one side, how many acres is that? Like 3 or 4, 5 acres, maybe? I mean, an acreage is probably an area, okay, I realize an acre is an area measurement, but how would, um, but assuming that, but can you give a guess as to how many acres would be on one side? If I'm saying this right, if 1,000 by 1,000 by 1,000 equals 23, um, I'm not sure if I'm making sense. I mean, you're saying 23 acres. Okay, 1,000 by 1,000, that's a million square feet. That's 23 acres. But 23 acres, uh, if it was square, mean shape. Okay. Well, I guess if it's 1,000 feet on one side, uh, okay. One single acre forming into perfect square. Each side of the square would be roughly 209 feet long. Okay. Oh, yeah. So that means it'd be like five acres lined up. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Five. It would essentially be 5 acres. It wouldn't be 5 acres in actual square footage. It would be 5 acres that you would walk past. So if you rounded a bit, you could say, we'll go with 25 acres, and that would be 5 by 5. 25, just roughly. Okay, yeah, 4.78, 21 acres. It kind of makes sense. It's that isn't exact either, but it's 25-acre block. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Now acres. After now after thinking what I want to use this estimation for, uh, acres might not be uh, useful, so I might stick with feet. But 1,000 acres, approximately five 5 acres on one side. Okay, so this may be easier, although there may not be any actual records here either that you can actually find. How wide is Main Street in the Main Street in the Oh, you know what? Okay, so what am I doing? I'm doing if I do 35 minutes, if I start doing that, that means I got 4 more minutes before I have to cut off and decide that um I'm done and I'm kind of taking, you know, um I just figured after I don't know if you see it in another part, but what I was finding out is that I was having problems stopping and going over time, and so if I gave it instead of 5 minutes, I gave it 10 minutes, and I made sure it was 10 minutes at the end of each session. That gives me only 35 minutes. That's even less time, but it gives me 35 minutes, and then I can go into 10 minutes, I can, if it overlaps in that 10 minutes, to wrap things up, that will still work. So I'm going to be counting the end here in just about 3 minutes, but we'll see something here. In the Magic Kingdom at WDW, probably just in feet. That's from Walt Disney Main Street map. Okay, Main Street USA. Okay, and that's maybe. Well, I don't know. I need a map of Main Street. I don't remember what exactly is here. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do this. It doesn't even matter if it's the right time or the wrong time. Let's see if we can get. That's as big as that gets, huh? Um, Main Street USA. What's that? 13. The Emporium, right? I don't know if I can see anything in here by doing it this way, but we'll see. Yeah, that's 13. 13 and 14. Uptown Jewelers. Um, that's not really what I want either. Where is? Wait a second. I don't know what year this is in particular. It kind of doesn't matter in a way, but Town Square Theater. It's 5, huh? No, that's down in the little hub area. I mean the actual Main Street proper. Okay, well, that's from, we'll say, Emporium on the left. You're going in to the other side of the street, i.e. that. Actually, find, I meant. Okay, 35. That's okay. I'll finish this up as soon as it says if it, you know, um, we'll see in feet how wide Main Street is in feet. Spatial data, architectural analysis. From the side of the Emporium on your left, straight across to the side of the Main Street confectionery east side shops, approximately 60 feet. Okay. "30 feet tall, forced perspective." Oh, that's cool. All right. Third of an acre, square wide. Hmm, okay. Yeah. So essentially, the Renaissance Fair, aka, is sort of like a Main Street. Okay. I might could widen it to we'll say 100 feet, or maybe that's pretty far though, isn't it? 60 feet. Oh, doesn't seem right either. You know, it doesn't seem like my room is like a 10 foot on one side. Okay, so if I imagine six of these, is Main Street that wide? Anyways, easy. So about 1/10 wide of any one of the leaves in the four-leaf clover. The schools are located around the hotel in the center in sort of a four-leaf clover pattern. Um, so each land could be about 1,000 square feet. Now, 235 to 245, 245. Okay, so if I'm going to break, I have to break here in the next few minutes. So each land could be about 1,000 square feet. What is that? Yeah. Granted, 100 is much wider than 60, but it's okay. It's not meant to be exact to the specifications of WW, but I needed an idea to be able to visualize spatial relationships. It's also interesting because each grid square in its palette draw is about 5 squares by 5 squares, and then if I made one of the leaves 5 by 5, i.e. 25 mythical acres, then I know to now. Okay, so it's 1/10, right? So 25 divided by 10, 2.5, right? Make the strip about 2.5 squares, I think. 25 by 25. That works out. It might look funny though, because it will look incredibly thin, but I might have to leave it like that. Okay. If I want to take a break, I should go ahead and do it. I should go. See, this is the whole point. The whole point of giving me that 10 minutes is so that I wouldn't be doing it right up to the. You essentially recreated a hub and spoke model. Yeah, hub and spoke is it's more like it's like a half of a wagon wheel because the lands aren't around the backs. They're not pointing down exactly. They're more pointed out to the side. Oh, yeah. I meant 1,000 by 1,000. It's a million square feet, I guess. But half of a single square wide. Oh, 200. Oh, 200 by 200 feet. Oh. That makes sense, right? 200 by 200 feet. Half of a single square wide. Oh, that's a massive. Uh, okay. Okay. So, let me clarify here. Each major grid square is 5 by 5 smaller squares. So, if a 1 acre square is approximately 200 feet on one side, then uh okay, so what would that be? That would actually be half of the big squares. In other words, it would be 2.5 small squares. Okay. Then that's half of the big square, which is 2.5 smaller squares. Let me get a screeny. Let's go to do this, and then let's do this, and let's do cancel. Take screenshots. Okay, copy clipboard. Actually, not cancel. Let's do something else instead. Let's zoom in because I think, yeah. Okay, now let's do a screenshot. Take screenshot. Okay. Copy clipboard. Whoop, 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 whoop. So it understands what I'm talking about. Because the way this grid shows, it should be able to see it. I mean, if it's able to analyze, which Gemini is supposed to be able to do. That's actually a massive light bulb moment because Excel draws built-in grid perfectly matches the math we just did. You don't even need to do weird 2.5 square math. Nature, or I have to hand it to you. You can scale that to that image. Major square, thick lines, your entire theme park land like a single leaf. 5 blocks wide by 5 blocks deep. Let's call this 1,000 feet by 1,000 feet, 25 acres. The minor square, thin lines. Each square is divided into 5 smaller blocks. That means a tiny square is exactly 200 by 200 feet. That means one minor square is exactly. Oh, well. Yeah, I can probably do it, but well, that circle was to represent. See, now I'm already. See, I already screwed up now. The total area of a leaf at night land, for instance. Um, it covers approximately 5 by 5 major squares. Which would represent an acre. Divide that up. Okay. That's 200. 200 divided by. Anyways, 200 is half of that. Right. Okay, 200 divided by 5 is 40. Right. By 5. And you have about 40 feet per minor square. So when I'm doing 100-foot wide street, that takes up 2 squares, 80, plus half a square. And I might not even want to do it that way is because I can't do half squares in there. I mean, maybe I can. Maybe there's a way to even divide it up even further. In which case, what I have to do is I'd have to um, maybe I'd have to double it. Maybe maybe for maybe a 1 square an acre would actually be represented by a 2 by 2 square major square grid, so that at least I could get down to like the half a square thing if I wanted to. 20 most 100 feet. See what I did. Okay. Um, and I'm saying it wrong, so now I'm probably getting confused. I see. You have to, you get much finer detail in your math. That's 1 major square equals 1 acre, right? 1 minor square, 40 by 40 feet. Orthogon alley, 100 feet wide, 2.5. Okay. Now, okay. So one more thing that I realized when doing this is, uh, well, I mean, I could probably let me do something here. Let's do a thing. See, I mean, I could tell it to shut off, not use the grid. Like if I turn the grid off, see some here. Let's toggle grid off. Now let's see what happens when I try to resize it. See, I can resize it smaller, but then I don't have the grid to do that with. Okay, so let's go ahead and toggle grid back on. If I have the grid on, it snaps the grid, and I can't make it do it half a square unless I turn it off, and then I don't get a measurement. So what I might do is make them twice as big so that 2 by 2 major squares equal 1 acre. I mean, you can keep doing this forever, right? Till you get like down to, I could get it down to 10. I mean, I could make it a 4 by 4 big squares, and that would it's all relative size anyway, so it's probably not a major deal. Which means now 200 feet by 10 equals 20 feet per minor square. And that way I can actually do, was it 2.5? It was, so let's see, I don't know. 2.5, right? But if we did twice as many, what would 2 be there? It would be 4, right? It would be 5. You couldn't get it centered then, though, could you? Because now, instead of being 40, 40, 40, 40, and 40, it's 20, 20, you know. So 5 squares would be 100 feet. I'd have to do something funky like making it 120 feet, so I can actually. I could make it 80 feet, in which case I could just do the smaller then. Now that's interesting. 500 squares equals 100. However, the problem with that is I can't get that centered. Yeah, it's a really weird thing. I could always make it odd though. If I made it odd numbered, you know, probably just overthinking it. So now at this point, I'm just overthinking it. Or I could just make it 80, or I could just since they're 5 by 5 anyways, and 25, they're not 24, they're not even numbers. I didn't think about that. The classic low. Yeah, okay. Turn the grid off to get without control while dragging it or resetting shape this temporarily bypass of the grid snap. You can use the grid snap to exact the 3 minor squares Make it 80 feet wide, exactly 2 miles. Yeah, the other thing I didn't think about, 25 is an odd number. So, um, I could make it 120 though. I mean, that wouldn't be too bad. I wish I could visualize that though. That's okay. If it corroborates it, 60 feet wide is probably right. Okay. Okay, I visualize a road twice the width, let's say 120 feet. Olympic swimming pool, okay. Long. Into a 6 to 8 lane highway. 264 foot long. Limit of my main strip in my game where there are shops, hotels, and shops, hotels, and restaurants in a Magic Kingdom fantasy comedy cartoony adventure uh, concerning a Magic Kingdom turned tourist resort. It's analogous to Main Street, but I'm getting ideas of relative sizes. Thanks. All right, so let's so having the street the width of one. Oh, but it wouldn't be that. It would be half of that, wouldn't it? Times an odd number. If I do 1 acre, 40 feet, 40 times 3 is 120. So 120 feet actually the ideal. It's the 3 middle squares. Um, at 40 feet per minor square. Ideal, not idea. Work an odd number of grid units. See if you make exactly 3 minor squares wide, 120 feet. It centers flawlessly. You have 11 minor squares on the left, 3 minor squares for the street in the middle. Perfect symmetry. Yeah. Also, if it seems too big, I can actually literally can make the actual street itself smaller, but the whole strip would probably include the buildings, uh, the buildings. I could even make uh, the whole thing one major square wide, which would be 200 feet total. But the actual street itself would be smaller. How real world urban planners, theme park designers. I don't know about the actual size of buildings, but technically you could do it like that where third corridor. If your entire orthogon alley zone is one major square, 5 minor squares wide, it gives you a perfectly symmetrical 200-foot slice of land. You can easily divide those in 5 minor squares right down the middle. Left side buildings, 1.5 minor squares, 60 feet deep. Actual street, 2 minor squares, 80 feet wide, slightly wider than Disney, perfect for Renaissance fair. Right side building is 1.5, minor square is 60 feet deep. That's actually not a bad idea. Finally, that's a good idea. You can completely ignore the minor squares when blocking out the big map. You just draw the big box that's 1 major square wide and snap it. Done. Perfect centering. Zoom in and draw the actual map art. Now the only question is, how long is it going to be from the bottom of the stem to the hotel hotel. No, no. Keeping in mind that the entrance is usually from a flying train to the depot on the west side of the castle in the sky, where the flying trains go down to the surface from the west side of the depot. So we're not entering the bottom of the stem. Although I can probably have something important down at that end. I might even do a land-based railroad that goes around the kingdom, sort of like Disneyland World's railroad. Or I should say, you get to the castle's east side depot and then board another train on the west side. The distance from the entrance tunnel down to Main Street is roughly 1,000 to 1,200 feet. Applying this to your map is incredibly the length of the stem, if you want. 1 major square long. That wouldn't be it. Okay. I should say get the one major square deep or long would only be 200 feet. So you're talking roughly 5 major squares long, which is the size of the leaves on one axis. I completely crossed my wires on the scale in my last message. The mile's about 2,000 something, and so about half of that, it's half a mile. That's about right. All right, well, on the Interkingdom flying train at the Sky Castle's East Depot. They walk across the Sky Terminal to West Depot. The descent. They board the surface-bound shuttle train. They reveal the surface train drops them off at Grand Station right at the bottom of this. Yeah, actually, I didn't even think about that because that, I mean, that's kind of what Disneyland does and Disney World does, anyways. You 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 go into the entrance, right, and then when you come out of the tunnel, you're at the Main Street depot for the Disney World or Disneyland railroads. That's actually perfect. I didn't even think about that. You know what? I should put that in my notes too. Recent. Let's go Enchantedland's design notes. Let's go ahead and at the very end, it's just my dump file. I have to update my dump file here. Oh yeah. Anyways, so the surface bound flying train should deposit you at the bottom of the fair. Uh, where there's a depot, sort of like how Main Street Station, the Disneyland Railroad, is the entrance into Main Street. Okay, I just had to put that in there as a little deal. Okay, that's actually very good. And the weenie, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's, that's very cool. And plus, it's a nod or homage or nod to the actual theme parks. Plus, it's a nod to the actual theme parks, which works perfectly. Yeah, the castle is actually uh, in the clouds. It's like an island in the sky covered with clouds, but the main hotel makes it um, the weenie, as you said. I wonder who came up with that idea calling it the weenie, which is weird. I heard that before, but okay. Um, this is slightly different than the hub and spoke, mostly because of positioning. Um, Nightland, Princess Land, Wizard Land, and Fairy God Land. Right. Wizard Land, Southwest Leaf is in the southwest. Princess Land is in the northeast. So, I think the Disney parks, um, the lands are still forward from the castle. At least that's the way I've always pictured it. Maybe not really, though. So it's still similar to the old and spoke design. I just call it the four-leaf clover design. I guess we'll actually look at it. I always pictured it. I mean, if you think about it right, I'm still doing kind of the same thing. Adventureland is actually, well, Adventureland, you don't actually go south though. You're going east and west, and so it's actually going like it's like sort of like a mushroom almost. Hub and spoke is actually more of a horseshoe or a fan because Main Street USA takes up the entire southern spoke, all of the magical lands, right? And then you have like right, all the magical lands are pushed to the top half of the map. You enter the hub from the south. You go only west, Adventureland, north, Fantasyland, east, Tomorrowland. There's nothing behind you to the south except the exit. For the cover design is actually building evolution of that. It works much better for a top-down video game map by putting the GL hotel dead in the center and having the lands branch out in all 360 degrees. You get a few massive benefits for your game. Geographical contrast. You can totally put totally opposite lands across from each other. If Wizard Land is dark, scholarly, mysterious, having Princess Land northeast be bright and airy and traditional creates effect. You know what? That's not a bad idea either. It's like I said, I'm not really getting the AI to do my stuff for me, but it's giving me lots of ideas. So I'm thinking, yeah, I could totally do that. Now, all these four schools, they're good. So there's nothing bad about them. But yeah, the Wizardland, Wizard Universe, Wizard U could be kind of dark and mysterious, old world, old school, and then of course Princess Land and Princess Prep can be all like bright pastel colors and that sort of thing, and then of course Nightland in the northwest and Fairy Godland in the southeast. Completely essential. If a tourist in the southwest leaf wants to get to the northeast leaf, they have to navigate around the hotel. So hopping on a train that circles the outer edge is a perfect game mechanic. And actually, that's what they do in Disney World and Disneyland too. So it still works. The castle's the center, and by putting it in the sky, you keep the fantasy element, but you make the towering corporate actual center of the map. Perfectly reinforces your plot about the kingdom being sold out to corporate interests. Well, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not anti plus I'm not anti-capitalism and I'm not doing this corporate thing. That's not what it's about. He's doing basically so well, I don't want to get into it. I mean, I can tell you in a few words here, but I don't want to tell it I don't want to spend all the time to tell it the whole story. So basically, Max was used to be in Enchanted Lands back before it was actually a tourist resort. Well, actually, when he did his bad thing, it was when it was a tourist resort though. So he was back from before it, but that's not the backstory. The backstory here is he tried something similar. He tried to um, he wanted to conquer worlds. So maybe he tried making. I don't remember exactly the what I had, because I had even had kind of the backstory where I was even thinking about making it like a smaller game as a sort of the prequel kind of thing. But basically, he was trying something similar. He didn't do a Bits Big Machine, but he was using portal magic to trying to open large portals, and so he could march an army through and start taking over lands, right? Um, but he wasn't thinking large scale as much back then. So back then he was only thinking like one at a time kind of thing. Um, and basically, the king, Harold or Hubert, if I don't know if I'll still stick with Harold or Hubert. I'm still up in the air on that, but so basically, he tried something similar. So this time around, Max is covering his bases. So he has Violet take half of Harold's magic from because he upsop him. Violet, which is his right hand woman, you might say. Um, she's the one that enchanted that cursed Sir William in the form of a unicorn, right? And then sent the Black Knight to go after him, because supposedly the Black Knight likes to eat unicorn steaks, right? Unicorn steaks. Uh, and there's only one left, and that's Sir William. Basically, the idea is he basically probably hunted all of them down. It's kind of a basic deal. Um, then there was, let's see. Um, I don't think Roland's dad was in it. Then. I think I had to deal with the vampires. So the Count, he's a vampire, and they're misunderstood, but they made them out to be these kind of monster things, and so basically people hunted down the vampires until the Count's like the last one there. That's why he's kind of seeking a mate, because he's the last of his kind in Enchanted Lands, and so that's where he gets that. So and the Count is a friend of Harold or Hubert, and so basically, um, they got everybody to hunt down the vampires who were good, and so basically on their side. And there's just a number of things that they did that took care of the things that stopped them before. And then this idea of the machine, so it's much grander in scale now. Um, so yeah, there's nothing corporate, nothing here. Max was in the lands before, and he tried something similar, just not on a grand scale. And so Harold slash Hubert, halfway or halfway Harold. I'm still not um, certain what I want to do about his name. And the real king and a number of others, including the Count, basically Sir William and a number of others, including the Count, basically defeated Max and banished him. So now that he's found a way back, he's got an even grander plan. Why not try to conquer all the realms? the castle in the sky is where the king rules, but also where they run the park from the resort. Otherwise known as the administration castle. Okay. See, now I just kind of wasted my time, and I'm not even doing any code today, which kind of ticks me off. So now, yeah, but he buys it out, so he's making the semblance of being. He is returning the vengeful conqueror using a bureaucratic takeover as a smokescreen for magical invasion. Okay. Max weaponizing the resort's own legal financial system to get his foot in the door by legally buying the kingdom and shutting down the schools. He's systematically disarming the realms without having to fight a war right away. His brilliant, insidious way for a banished villain to exact revenge on King William. King William. Sir William is not King William. The king. I didn't even give the king a name. Anyways, fantasy and theme park genres. Usually, a fantasy king who sits on the throne, but Sir William. Uh, but he's not. Okay. Okay. Well, Sir William is not the king. In fact, I haven't really fleshed out the real king much, or even given him a name yet. Sir William is head of the Enchanted Guard, and him and his army defeated Max's armies. So he gets Violet Moonshadow to curse him in the form of a unicorn. Insultatory. And to make things worse, Max gets the Black Knight tells the Black Knight that there's one more unicorn left because he has a penchant for unicorn steaks. Yeah. Elevates Violet Moonshadow's a threat. We already knew Violet was dangerous. This cements her sass, a heavy hitter. She's magical chops. This successfully cursed the not just disgruntled just defeat the guy who beat his armies in the past. He completely melee by turning Sir William uh just cursed ally. No, he can't talk. That's the point. Until they uh yeah. Violet is also the one who gets half Harold's magic. His original name was Harold Halfway, but I had changed it at some point to Hubert. Now I'm going back to that. She doesn't really steal it, but rather tricks him into giving to her. Customary for wizards who are getting married to gift half of their magic to their spouse. And she gets him to do that before they're married. Anyways, my time is up for today, and I'll have to talk to you on Monday. Or if I get a bonus session in this weekend. He decided, Mr. Williams isn't just humiliated by it, he's actually in his delicacy. This is the way that wizards give half their magic to their spouses be forbidden world building and Violet exploiting Harold's love interest to steal his power before the wedding makes her incredibly despicable and ineffective villain. It explains exactly why he is halfway Harold and gives him deeply personal emotional stake against the fight. It's no longer just about saving the kingdom, it's personal. Also noted and locked in Harold halfway it is. Thanks. Thanks. And yeah. Okay, thanks. I'm stuck for today. I'll be back on Monday. Okay. Okay, I already said thanks to that. Let's go to Grok. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's do my real quick recording here. Today is Friday, May 8th, 2026, and I didn't get a whole lot done today. I have decided on re that's not here. Oh yeah, I actually put in some extra stuff about the beginning of the preface, you might say, of the game, of the story. And I'll probably still have to continue to like. I'll have to after I completely finish it. I'll have to squish it down until I can get it down to like a paragraph or maybe two paragraphs or something. A single page, single screen, basically. So I did that. This is what I'm going to be trying to follow. I'm going to give myself 10 minutes at the end of each session, which should help with overlap, but I still need to figure out a way of making sure that I am turning everything off and I'm stopping at that 10-minute mark. So even if I go over a couple of minutes, it still doesn't mean I go over time. So I kind of messed that up, but we'll just we'll try it again on Monday when I get back to it on Monday. So and I could say the same thing here too. o'clock. Here. 2 o'clock to 55 on section 3, right? And then we go 2:35 to 2. Oh, hey Rook and goodbye Rook. Sorry about that. Here. Anyways, I'm just doing the other half of my schedule here. To 2:45 buffer / break. Which I'm supposed to actually take a break, but I didn't today. But okay, that's all right. 2:45 to 2:50, right? 2:45. No. No. 2:45 to 3:20. 3:20. Right. 3:20. Right? Right. On session 4, and then 3:20 to 3:30 wrap up. Okay, let's just go ahead and save this, and I'll save this as a streaming schedule or something. Streaming schedule. Do it like that. Okay, and let's go ahead and close that. And also today, I know I'm spending a long time recording, but that's okay. I also figured out how I want to. I also went through a little bit more of the tutorial of Lunacy for the whole mood board thing. When I'm done with that, then I'll start actually adding pictures to it. And then this is here. Let's go. These squares, there's 5. These are 5 squares make a major grid square, and so when I was figuring out sizes, basically we're gonna say that we'll say the theme park lands are usually, we'll say 1,000 by 1,000 feet, right? It'd be about 20 something acres. You know, I rounded off to 25 because there's 5 here, so each land is about 25 acres, right? And then actually, let's go ahead and save this. Save the file. Okay, good. All right. No, darn it! I wanted to overwrite it. Save. Replace. Okay, so that means that the street is going to be about that tall. It's going to be about 5 tall and about 1 wide. So it'll be about 120 feet total width of the street, including the buildings, and it'll be about 1,000 feet from the stem, which is going to be the actual depot. It's going to be the Renaissance Fair depot for the ground-based train, and from the depot to the hotel, which is going to be right in the middle. So that's what I did there. Okay, cancel. Okay, I already saved that, didn't I? Okay, and then mostly was just talking about I forget what I was talking about. See, I didn't get much. Oh, the mapping. The mapping was the part I was working on. The part I didn't get to is I didn't get to any code today, which is so stupid because I should have at least did like 5 minutes or something, a little something. But anyways, this way it always works out. I never get on time and do like I'm supposed to because the way things work out. Anyways, that's what I got done today. And I want to thank everybody who popped in. FBN Y8O. I don't know how you pronounce that. If you're still there, thanks for popping in. Sorry I didn't notice you because I was too absorbed in trying to make this game here. And hopefully you'll join me on Monday if you see me on. You can pop in then. And thanks. So thanks everybody, and I will see you later. Thank you for watching part 2.